Good evening again, everyone, and welcome back to DMs with PM. Of course, this is your 1 hour interactive segment every Tuesday from 6 p.m. It is an absolute pleasure to have you back for another episode, and of course, we are at episode 7. Thank you so much to our partner stations, Power FM, Star FM, We FM, GBN, Fusion FM, Vibes FM, and GIS. To all our viewers on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so very much for joining us once again. And as always, we ask that you share the live and give other folks the opportunity to be part of this interactive session. All right, so all you have to do is hit the share button and we're good to go. Of course, you know how quickly an hour goes by, so we're not going to waste any time. We're getting right into it with our Prime Minister. Welcome back to another episode. Seems just like yesterday we had,
Yes, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. You're looking quite lovely. I like the
you.
matching dress and hairstyle.
Thank you so much.
It's bright for what is an otherwise overcast day. So good evening to our viewers, listeners. It's a pleasure to be with you once again.
Wonderful. Well, you're in blue. Are you backing France, perchance? Are you into football? What World Cup is on?
Very much so.
What's your team?
Team would be Grenada, but but we have some work to do before we get there.
Not there.
Before we get there. I don't have a team. I think I like to back for the underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
So, all of the countries that are playing in the World Cup for the first time, I want them to obviously have some upsets. But usually when it gets to quarterfinal stage, we tend to back either a South American team most of the time. So I don't want to call names yet. Let's see how it progresses up to the quarterfinals, and then we'll see. It's a new format, so hopefully an underdog could score some upsets.
Well, I'm France all the way, so let's see about that.
Well, they'll argue France is largely an African team.
No, but seriously, the entire internet is buzzing about the looks of the African teams. They came to make a statement, even if they they don't qualify, just the way their parents and everything. I think that's what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, the dancing, the moves, so we'll see.
We'll definitely see. All right, and of course, like we said, we always like to start off on a light note and then get into the heavy stuff. But on the social media side of things, one that I see making a lot of wrongs, and I'm not too sure if people have an understanding of it, is that of the folks in the diaspora coming home to cast their votes. And there's a lot of talks around the illegalities, not being illegal, a lot of different talks about it. To those who are listening and probably registered and they're not sure what is happening, what to do, I would love to start off, with a little insight on that.
Well, I would start by saying nothing has changed. The electoral law that governed the last election is the electoral law that is going to govern the next election. And so persons who are registered voters are eligible to vote. And once they are here in Grenada and able to show up in person and cast their votes, then I expect that process will be followed. So I don't think persons who are in or out of the country at any given point in time should worry unnecessarily about this. If you're a registered voter, you have your ID card, you're registered in a particular polling division. If you are in Grenada on election day, you'll be entitled to vote. So I will answer a question that's often asked. We do not have any mail-in voting. We do not have any absentee voting. You have to be in Grenada to be able to vote. And obviously, you have to be a registered person to vote. So if you're a registered elector, if you have your ID card, then that's all you need. And you need to obviously be there in person to vote.
Okay. All right, so we can put that to rest to those of you who've been asking, because I have been getting a lot of questions regarding that, because people are, not too sure what's happening where that is concerned. Now, on the other side of things, I want to delve a little bit into transport. And the question is, when will operators begin to see the benefits of the 50% concession on tires, parts, and consumables?
Well, I should answer it this way. We are working to operationalize it, because obviously part of the challenge obviously is situations where they are importing it themselves. You have to have a mechanism for that. In situations where they are buying it from the wholesalers or retailers on the island, you have to have a mechanism for that. So it's really working out that process with the Ministry of Finance. And once that is done, then I expect the benefit will start almost immediately. The challenge ideally, I think from a government perspective, is that if the operators had a uniform and a united way of bringing all of their parts, or had an agent that would bring in all the parts, the tires, etc. for them, then it would make it a lot easier for us. And if we know for sure that the parts are designated for the bus owners, then that will simplify the process for us on the government. And then I hope that we can get to the point one day where the bus operators have a single corporate entity that acts on their behalf and can in fact import items on their behalf. So therefore the concessions will go specifically to that entity and it will be distributed amongst the members, rather than the challenge we have now of there are 1,500, 1,500 according to our bus operators in Grenada. So imagine having to process concessions for 15 individual bus owners. So it's an onerous process, but we are committed to working it out. The team at the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Finance will find a mechanism to be able to treat with it. And we want to make sure that everyone benefits, not just a handful of people. So the team at the Ministry of Transport has been very clear on trying to engage directly with as many of the bus operators as we can.
So how will government monitor whether these concessions are actually reducing operational costs?
Well, I mean, from our perspective, there are two issues. One, the busmen have asked for a bus increase, so that's the revenue side. And two, obviously, if you can find a way to lessen your expenditure, then it means the difference between your revenue and your expenditure is greater, and therefore you have more profitability. So it isn't designed from an expenditure point of view to lower the cost of the fare. The fare remains the same. It's designed to lower the costs, the expenses that the busmen themselves have. So if you're buying tires and the tires is $250 plus the, let's say, customs duties or VAT is $50, then the tire would be $300. So if you're only paying $250, then it means that $50 that you would have had to pay in VAT or customs duties, you now keep. And therefore, obviously, it helps with your profitability. So the idea here is that we give them the concessions on parts, tires, etc. And we're also giving them a rebate on gas. So it means we've capped the price that they will pay for gas. And when they pay it, even if they pay over that amount, we give them back the difference. So again, they're recovering their money. So both on the fuel side and on the parts, tire side, we are seeking to keep their expenses less than what it would otherwise be, so that they have the chance to make the same or more profit without having an increase in the bus fare.
Now, for the longest while, we've been, using diesel, gas vehicles, and now we're seeing a lot of, electric vehicles. And I think sooner rather than later, that is where, we're headed. And the question now is, what plans are in place for electric vehicles in terms of concessions and, public charging stations?
So, in fact, one of the reasons we're seeing more electric and hybrid vehicles is because we've already put the concessions in place. It is zero rated, meaning you have 100% duty on an electric, duty off on an electric vehicle. So if you buy an electric vehicle currently in Grenada, you don't pay any duties.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I think hybrid, I believe it's 75%, but I'll have to double check that. So we've incentivized the purchase of electric vehicles. We are working on a policy to deal with public charging stations, but more fundamentally, we also have to address the issue of the source of the electricity. Because if you're buying electric vehicles and you are charging it at a source that essentially is relying on diesel or fuel to give you energy, then we're actually not having any difference in terms of the actual amount of energy we are burning using diesel. So getting to the point where there's more and more solar on the grid system, or where more and more people have solar in their homes and they can charge their vehicles using that, is really what we want to see happen. Because if you're using solar to charge your vehicle, then that's truly electric, because you are using, or at least truly non-fossil fuel. So the goal really is to get us to the point where more and more we have renewable energy, and that persons can charge their vehicles or their trucks using renewable energy sources rather than diesel, because then if you're using diesel, it's effectively fuel-based. So the policy for the charging stations we're working on at the Transport Commission, and we hope to be able to unveil that. We are hoping that we can have in some of the public spaces, let's say like Camahorn and car parks and so on, that we can have charging stations at some of the tourist sites like in Lever and so on, and that we can have those installed in schools where vehicles are parked up for long periods of time, at the airport and so on. But obviously safety is one of the things we have to get right, and the specification and the standards. So that's part of what we're working on to get that policy rolled out.
Okay. All right, so still in transportation, I want to talk a little bit about the Spice Bus program.
Yes.
What would you say were some of the key lessons learned from the Spice Bus pilot in St. David and St. George?
Well, I'd say the key lesson is, one, you can operate a cashless system. And that's so from a safety point of view, that's important. A bus owner, bus conductor doesn't have to worry about having a bag of cash and someone snatching it. That's one. Second, we can operate plan routes, meaning you can plan when you're going to get a bus, and when the bus is going to be in your area, and when you can expect the bus to come. And that's critical for a lot more predictability in the transportation system. The third one is safety on the bus itself, because if you have cameras inside of the bus, you can monitor what's going on inside of the bus, and you can see in real time if there's any danger or anything. Or more importantly, if you know for a fact the child or the person exited the bus at this particular time and the child is missing, then you have or the person is missing, you have a reference point. So safety is also a big improvement. The one thing though is obviously cost, because we did this pilot and we paid for it, but it's not obviously sustainable where the government simply pays for public transportation. So that is a piece that we have to work out. I can't say we can say coming from it that we have a definitive answer yet, but we certainly think going forward we have the opportunity to expand the program to include more schools, and the lessons of safety, predictability, and a cashless system is something we can take towards the national public transportation system.
Okay. All right, well, we've delved quite a bit into the transportation side of things, and I'm sure you will have more questions when we get to that segment. But for now, we have to take our very first break, and when we come back, we'll have some of your DMs. Back in a bit.
Why you know
Grenada, right now we're getting ready for the biggest diaspora gathering in our history. The Grenada Diaspora Homecoming 2026 is official. Here's what, from June 21st to July 5th, you can come experience the Grenadian spirit like never before. Let's talk about week 1. This is where you can come home, reconnect, and celebrate. Then we step straight into week 2. It's all about building the future. Come be a part of forums and investment opportunities. Business Forum and Marketplace is your stage from June 30th to July 2nd. Showcase what you've built, meet investors, and link up with fellow Grenadians from all around the world. Listen, all you gotta do to be a part of this experience is register today at homecoming.gd. You definitely don't want to miss this one. Grenada, it's all about the Diaspora Homecoming 2026, and the countdown begins now.
You are cordially invited to the Prime Minister's Premium All-Inclusive Cruise aboard the Ecstasy. Now celebrating its 2nd year, this signature experience returns for another unforgettable evening at sea on Saturday, June 20th. Boarding begins at 4 p.m. with departure at 5 p.m. sharp. Come immerse yourself in a classy party atmosphere filled with premium vibes, great music, stylish energy, and unforgettable moments, where sophistication and a celebration come together for the ultimate cruise experience. Tickets are now available at gotofed.com and Grenadian Optical. An exclusive celebration awaits you aboard the SSC Saturday, June 20th. It's the Prime Minister's Cruise. We look forward to welcoming you on board.
And welcome back once again to all our viewers and listeners of DMs with PM. And for those of you who shared the live, thank you so much. And just inviting the rest of you to do that and give folks the opportunity to be part of this live interactive segment with our Prime Minister. It's now time for your DMs. Let's see what we have for you today. And I have to take my glasses off to read. Jefferson Miles says, would we be having the installation of the walkovers during the airport road project?
Thank you, Jefferson, for that question. And for a second or two, I actually will admit that I'd forgotten about the walkover projects. Those are bridges that we built, that we brought in to have the walkover so that persons would not have to cross the street while the traffic is flowing, and which oftentimes leads to traffic backup. So yes, the answer to that will be yes, because that's the ideal time to install them.
Okay. We have another question from MJ. Says one concern is being HR manager in two government facilities at the same time. How can the HR manager for Lotto also effectively serve as HR manager for the stadium? Both facilities have their own staff responsibilities and daily human resource matters that requires proper attention and oversight. I think it's better to have a dedicated HR for each facility so that workers receive the full support they need.
I agree with you, MJ, and I'm subject to correction. I am not aware that Lotto has the same HR manager as does the stadium, but at the risk of being wrong, I will certainly inquire about this matter. But as far as I'm aware, the Lotto HR manager should be working only for Lotto, and I am not aware that that manager is also working for the Stadium Authority, but I would certainly inquire about the matter.
We have another question from Kenton Map. Says, what are the plans for geo-mapping on naming and numbering of streets across Grenada?
Thank you, Kenton. That is a very good question, and the simple answer to the plans is that we intend to do so. Actually, it poses a significant challenge to international trade and commerce, even for Grenada. A perfect example is when you ask someone what's your address, and you just say Grandance, or Montrouge, or Tempe. It actually is no fixed or specific location, and just from simple things like parcels and so on, it poses a challenge for us. So that's part of what we have to do as a country to make sure that we can get to the point where we have fixed addresses, numbering, and, as you said, geo-mapping.
Okay. And we have another question from Kenton Map. I would like to know what will happen to York House, which was damaged since Hurricane Ivan and no attempt was made to fix it. Is it possible that it can be fixed and turned into a library or registry for the RGPF?
Thank you, Kenton. I don't know if it's for the RGPF, but certainly we have plans afoot to restore York House, as well as some of the other government assets along Church Street in particular. The Ministry for Culture, Creative Affairs is working on this. One of the buildings we've acquired on Church Street is the Priory. The intent here is to be able to look at restoring things like York House and the Priory so that they can serve as things like libraries, so that they can serve as art galleries, etc. So certainly plans are on the way in relation to addressing those issues. I should point out that these things do take time because you have to, in the case of York House, we have to verify that the foundation is fit for purpose. We also have to have the right designs. We then have to have tendering. We then have to have the capital to obviously pay to restore and build it, and importantly, we have to have the functionality of York House, because one of the challenges is parking, and so it is also part of a larger complex that once housed the court complex and our old Parliament building. But we definitely have plans to restore the site.
Okay. Thank you, and that was our DMs. I think it's time for us to go into our DMs from the street now with Norris.
Welcome back to another great episode of DMs with PM. I'm yours truly, Norris Francois. We are in the beautiful parish of St. John, to be exact, Guave Tongue, the tongue that never sleeps. Come with me as we get the DMs from the streets, from the people that matter.
Greetings, Shabaka Matlin from Guave St. John's. And my question is, do we have anything in place, or is there any insight to formulate any type of groups or just maybe a village network to start cleaning up the rivers and maintaining it the way we need to? Because every time I come home, that's one of my eyesores right now. The river is not what it used to be. It's dirty, trash, stuff like that, I think that's something we should be spending quality time and effort on, trying to get the place back to what it used to be. That's our source, that's water, So if there's anything you can do, or somebody who you could direct us to just get that idea out there, maybe formulate something. That'd be something, that we could treasure going forward. Yeah, so that's what I would like to know about. If we have anything in place to start, reviving, that's the word, reviving the rivers. Yeah, thanks.
So I completely agree with you. I absolutely hate littering. And it's worse when you see it in the rivers or in our water streams. But it's us, the people, who litter. And so we have to, I think, first of all, have the consciousness to recognize that our trash or garbage does not belong in our water streams. If that happens, there's no need to actually have to clean up the river. But having said that, we recognize that it happens, And so I certainly agree with you from a village community point of view. We are certainly quite keen to support the Ministry of Social and Community Development, at the Ministry of the Environment and Renewable Energy, and Minister James is the MP for St. John, to actually encourage and support community groups to in fact do things like clean up our rivers, clean up our waterways. Of course, it has to be done in a safe manner, and there is certainly support for community groups, for youth groups who want to engage in some of these environmental activities or social give back or goodwill activities. So I would say you can contact your parliamentary representative office, you can contact the Ministry of Youth, and if you have a youth group, if you have a community group that wants to engage in something like that, I'm sure this is something they will endorse and support, and you may even be able to get sponsorship for in terms of helping with the garbage bags and so on that you need to clean up the river. But ultimately, our rivers or water streams are our responsibility as citizens, and we can't be looking to the government to clean up the rivers if we are the ones polluting the rivers. So it starts with us ensuring that we teach our children, and I should say the children probably teach the adults, to ensure that we don't litter our waterways and our water streams.
And interestingly enough, I think I read a news briefing from Jamaica where they are planning to ticket or charge persons throwing litter from vehicles or buses, cars, whatever the case might be, in Jamaica at present.
Yeah. And, to be honest, I hope we, again, there are environmental laws on the books that prohibit littering and so on. But, I always say if we have to get to the point of having to use the law to enforce cleanliness and tidiness, then we're in a bad way. So it's really a question of ensuring that we behave and we teach the behaviors that are actually helpful to us, because polluting the water streams, the only person it harms are us, the citizens.
We have another DM from the street.
Good afternoon. My name is Maureen Oliver, also known as Dalton, a fisherman of Guelph St. John's. I would just like to raise a very touching topic to the PM, to look into the ice machines. For years now, we've been facing a challenge with the machine always breaking down, although the doors fix it. But we're asking if they could look into it and bring in some new machines, because we all know fishing play a vital role in this industry. Right? So we're just asking for them to look into new machines, because every time the machine breaks down, it's problem. I just have to go all in Grenville and buy ice. So we're asking to look into that. So we're asking for a new ice machine. Thank you.
All right, so the request is noted. I will have to discuss the matter with the Minister for Fisheries, the Honorable Lennox Andrews, to get a sense of, I can't speak to who owns the machines, who repairs them, and so on, how long they've been there. So I think once those inquiries are made, we will be in a better position to know what, if any, assistance can be provided to the fishermen in terms of ice.
We have another DM from the street.
I'm Takoba Flomo the Fourth, right? Of Grenada, go up. I would like to say this to the Prime Minister. He's doing good so far with the Vision 75, and I would like for him to stay with the Vision 2075, right? Because so far he's doing very good, right? And my advice to him is that they keep focus on the 75 vision, right? And don't go outside and look at what other countries are doing, and try to imitate. Stick with your plan, and the Grenadians have to live with the plan. And so far, they like what is going on, right? So I would like to thank him for everything right now, and they keep doing all the good works and putting himself forward. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much for endorsing and supporting Vision 75. And yes, it's a plan made for Grenadians, by Grenadians. So it's important for us to appreciate that we have to think long term. We have to think what happens to the country 10, 15, 20 years from now, because our actions today will impact the next generation of Grenadians. So I certainly, I'm happy for the encouragement and the support to stick with the plan, and that's what I intend to do.
Good job, King. We have another DM from the street.
I am 56 years of age. I've been around the revolution as a youth man. So I see the revolution grow. I see other prime ministers come and they get everything in place and everything, I will just say it like it is and just go back down. And I believe in that prime minister because I do enough to make sure that party coming for over and over, 15 and 15 and 15 and 15. Like at one time, I was the only NDC having got two persons out of NDC, got me and a fella just down the road. And personally, I would like to see the Prime Minister face to face because everything starts from under. You think can come start from on top. Everything, anything you do, start from foundation. So personally, I would like to see the Prime Minister come and go up because I have a lot of answer and I have a lot of advice for him. Thank you.
Ross, want to see you in Guelph.
No, absolutely. I will be in Guelph. I'm hesitating, but I feel in response to this question, it's important for us to say so. We have our 4th anniversary rally on the 21st of November. We've been in office effectively. The 23rd of November will make it 4 years. And we intend to ensure that we go back to the people so that the people can write their manifesto for the next 5 years. So I'm preempting the announcement that I will be making at the rally here on the show. And it's precisely because of the comments that he's made, that it doesn't start from the top down, it starts from the bottom up, right? I'm just one Grenadian. There are a couple other tens of thousands of Grenadians whose views matter, whose opinions matter, whose desires, aspirations matter. And we have to get them to write and to state and to speak about what they want to see, how they see their country 5, 10, 15 years from now, and to give us the opportunity to in effect, put in place their plan, not our plan. So we will be in Guelph. We will be, I think, across as many villages as we can across the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique to give the citizens the opportunity to write the country's manifesto so that going forward, we can ensure that we implement the plans that they desire for their constituencies, for their villages, for their parishes, and for the country as a whole.
Yeah,
so you will see me in Guelph, sir.
Yeah, and I think people really love the town hall settings. You get that, intimate feeling where they can ask the questions directly, etc., and hear from you and the other members. So.
Yeah. But in this case, we want to go further. We want to do less talking. We want people to actually say what they want so that we can document that, synthesize it, put it together, and then come back to the public and say, this is what you said you want to see happen, and therefore this is what we will implement on your behalf, rather than us sitting in a room and brainstorming as to where we think the country should go, because we really do think that the best ideas do come from the people, and it's an opportunity for us to engage in a mass mobilization of our citizens, to hear their views, to have them documented, and then for us to be able to present it back to them.
And we had one of the folks talking about Vision 75 and, sticking to the plan and not venturing outside. But one of the things that I really like from Barbados is this new app where you can, document. You have an issue with potholes here, you have issues here, and it will be read in real time. I think that is something that we can also look at in the future.
No, certainly. I think Guyana has the app as well. So it is something we will certainly be looking at as well.
Okay, fantastic. We have another DM from the street.
Okay, my name is Carol. I would like for the fishermen of Guelph to have proper market for their fishing, because they're going and risk their life at sea, come back with the fish, and they have no good market for the fish. So we like the government to put things in place for the Guelph fishermen. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. We certainly continue to work to support the fishermen to get more markets. As you're aware, we had a challenge with the exports to the US. We've been able to overcome that. The Minister of Fisheries and the team at the Ministry of Fisheries have, in fact, been working on sourcing alternative markets so we can diversify the markets as well. I'm not in a position to give a specific update as to where we are on some of those specific areas, but it's something that I can certainly get an update from the Minister of Fisheries from and come back to the public and come back specifically to the fishermen and fisherwomen of Guelph.
Okay. Someone asking if it's the 24th of November is election day, because you said November.
Oh, I said November. Sorry if I said November.
Say they need to take note of November 24th.
No. It's June, right? The 4th anniversary. Obviously the 23rd of June. So.
Okay. All right, folks, we have to take another quick break, but when we come back, we, of course, we'll be taking your calls, so stay close. We'll be back after this break.
My name is Simon Redcliffe. I'm the Assistant Site Manager for Creative Designs. We're currently working on the St. Andrews Anglican Primary School project here in Grenville. As you can see behind me, this is the foundation stage of the project, which we are dealing with at the moment. We have basically done roughly about 50% of the foundations, of the foundation works. We have, behind me, we have the last section of foundations we'll be doing. So we are planning to finish the foundations by the end of the month. And yeah, we'll start continuing to move up on the building, on the vertical rises. The next phase of the construction will be to get the foundation walls up to floor level. After that, we're going to deal with the backfilling. And from the backfilling, we're going to be doing staging for the slabs above. So we will be doing columns, shear walls, all the supporting structures for the slab above. And once that's done, we will start staging decking off with the slabs for the first floor and continuing up on the next level. I think we have 1 year, this is a 1 year contract, so we will be finished by next year at the same time. The project is due for completion in mid-2027. Yes, we are on schedule. Most projects, the risk of the construction phase is within the foundations. On this project, we've passed that stage. We don't foresee any issues moving forward on the project. We are in constant communication with all the necessary stakeholders around the project and within the town of Benville. We're in constant communication with the ministry and all the neighbors around, so we are working well with everyone at the moment, so we don't have any issues concerning that.
Welcome back again to all the viewers and listeners of DMs with PM. And of course, we've had your direct messages, we've had your DMs from the street, and now it's time for your calls. The number 423-3104 to call to ask your questions directly of the Prime Minister. 423-3104. We have a caller online? Not as yet. All right. So callers, you know the number, 423-3104. Give us a call so you can ask your questions directly. So while we await your calls, of course, we have the Diaspora Homecoming coming up, and lots of you have been calling in and asking, what's some of the things to do? What are some of the items on the itinerary? What are we going to be part of? Maybe we can give a little update as to where we are.
Sure. I think the information I have is that, in fact, we have approximately 800 persons registered, so we are expecting that if they registered, it means they're coming home. That particularly the area that allows for diaspora vendors to register, that is sold out, so that's a good sign. It means lots of the business-minded diasporians taking part in the opportunity to present to Grenada and the Grenadians here the products and services they offer, so that's encouraging as well. There are a number of activities that are taking place. We start with a church service in Point Saline on Sunday the 21st, so we want to encourage the citizens of Grenada to join those who are coming from the diaspora in that church service as well. It's important to emphasize that a lot of the activities which are part of the Diaspora Homecoming are actually activities that are in a sense taking place in Grenada, and we've sort of married or twinned them with the Diaspora Homecoming as well. But some of the specific Diaspora Homecoming events are some of those events that pertain to the forum that allows for people in the diaspora to network with local business people, business communities, to showcase the skills, the opportunities, the goods, the businesses that they have. I think that's really the critical piece, the opportunity for people in the diaspora to understand what they can invest in, who they can partner with in Grenada. So the business forums, I think, will be critical, not just the entertainment and the socializing, because we want to ensure that we have the opportunity for people in the diaspora to mentor people in Grenada, to have partnerships with business persons in Grenada as well. And when they leave, that there's an opportunity for us to actually have more economic growth, more development between Grenadian businesses and diaspora businesses. So I guess they call it B2B, the business-to-business networking, I think is, for me, one of the pieces that I'm most looking forward to make sure that we have a substantive impact from the Diaspora Homecoming, not just the entertainment, not just the Coconut Fest, not just the spice replanting program that we plan to have, but to make sure that from a business point of view, we can leverage the diaspora, as I said, to go beyond remittances, but to ensure that there's partnership between the diaspora and Grenadians at home.
Okay, so for those of you who have not booked your flights as yet, there's still time to do so, to come be part of the Diaspora Homecoming. We have our caller online. Caller, good evening. Welcome to the program. Go right ahead and be as brief as possible, please.
Good evening. How are you guys doing?
We are good, thank you.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Bye.
All right, thank you.
I like that. We have another call online. Caller, good evening. Welcome to the program. Go right ahead.
Evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Arona. My dear PM, I am so proud of you. May God bless and keep you. I'm very proud of you, sir. Bye.
Thank you. I'm lucky this afternoon. Thank you. I'm only getting compliments. I appreciate
We're
that.
on a roll from Guelph to the diaspora. Good evening, caller. Welcome to the program. Go right ahead.
Name. I'm just calling as a citizen of Grenada. Some years ago, there was an issue called for people to invest in cable and wireless, and a lot of Grenadians invested by myself over $2,000+, and up to now, those of us who would have invested, we not hear anything about the shares. So I know the present Prime Minister may not know, but I'm just letting him know.
All right, thank you very much for bringing this up. Actually, I do think it's an important matter. I'm aware that Grenadians invested in cable and wireless. I'm aware that some of our institutions, like the National Insurance Scheme, also invested in cable and wireless. And I believe the government of Grenada may still have some shares in cable and wireless. It's a matter that I would have to bring myself up to speed with, so to speak, to ascertain the status. I'm not sure whether dividends have been or ever paid or are being paid. So those are issues that I think certainly from the Ministry of Finance perspective, I think we can certainly look at and be able to provide some sort of feedback or update to the public on where we are with this. But having said that, I mean, you know, if it's a company that's privately owned and if you're a shareholder in it and you are not being paid dividends or so, then obviously your shares, you can always sell it. Sometimes the companies may buy back the shares or someone else may be interested in buying the shares. So there is an opportunity generally to divest of the shares. But I would certainly, I think, have to come up to speed on the history of the matter and where we are currently.
We have another caller online. Caller, good evening. Welcome. Go right ahead.
Excuse. Something I want to find out about. I would like to say that I've been to some of these senior citizen homes. The question is, how can they bridge that gap between the senior citizen and the young people? Because there are so much opportunity, so much knowledge that they can pass on to the youth, especially in times like we face today. So I don't know what can be done to bridge that gap between the senior citizen and young.
Thank you, caller.
Well, thank you for the comment. I think a number of initiatives certainly can be pursued, and I know the Ministry of Social and Community Development engages in that. Even as an MP for St. David, it's one of the things we actually quite do, for instance, is have dinners or lunches for senior citizens where we're able to bring them out. And the persons who are bringing them out are young persons, or who are organizing the events are young persons, so that there's an opportunity for exchange, for learning, for sharing of knowledge between senior citizens and younger persons. But from a more structured passing on of knowledge or information, there are a number of ways. From a family setting, for example, where senior citizens can share their experiences, their history, and their knowledge with younger members of the family, to community engagements where we deliberately bring young persons together with our senior citizens. I certainly think between the Ministry of Youth and the Ministry of Social and Community Development, there are opportunities. There are a lot more community centers that have been rebuilt, refurbished, or built anew that now provides community spaces for both the youth and our senior citizens to meet and engage. And I suppose a structured program that allows for the specific purpose of transferring knowledge or sharing experience or history is something that we can certainly look at doing. So thank you for the comment. It is something I can take back to the Ministry of Youth as well as the Ministry of Social and Community Development.
Good evening, caller. Welcome to the program. Go right ahead.
Mr. PM and host, you're doing a great job. To the point. Listen, I would like to bring to the attention of the listen to AI, and AI is controlling the food. I would like for you to take more control of the cabinet of the seed program, where food prices are going up every day. The cost of living is going up every day. So can you and the cabinet and the powers, you of course, and your group can look into every year reviewing the seed program and bring it up to scratch as far as the food price going up every day, and look into secret or undercover inspectors for price gouging. You know, I understand that we know there's a cap on some food, but, you know, they need to go undercover and catch those people that are making food cost a whole lot more than the people in the seed program can really afford. But the main thing is, like, you know, you gotta look into the every year adjusting that price of food, and every day it's going up. Have a blessed day, and you're doing a great job.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs is in the process, and I think may have already had consumer affairs inspectors. There is also a price control list where certain items are price controlled or price restricted. So yes, ensuring that there's robust enforcement and, as you said, undercover audits to ensure that persons are actually complying with the restrictions for foods that are restricted or other services that are restricted is something that has to happen. I'm not in a position to tell you whether it is happening, and that is something we can look at. In terms of the seed program, you would recall that we've already adjusted since we've been in office an increase in the seed program from where we found it. It is something we have to monitor, because you have to appreciate that the seed program comes from essentially taxpayers' money, and the taxpayers are essentially the persons who generally work and who contribute towards the government's revenue base. So we have to find a balance between what I would call constant increases in social safety net programs, and at the same time making sure that we don't disincentivize persons who are working and they stop work, because there are lots of other services we have to provide as well. I want to emphasize this thing about the cost of living and food in particular. We have to grow a lot more for food, and we have the capacity to grow a lot more for food. And that includes our starch, it includes our protein, it includes our vegetables. The soil in Grenada is still very fertile. Everything from chicken, goat, sheep, pigs, rabbits can be grown in Grenada for domestic consumption. And every type of starch except rice and wheat can be grown in Grenada. Sweet potato, as the Minister for Agriculture demonstrated, white potato, you know, all of the traditional starch, the yams, the plantains, all of the cassava, all of that can be grown in our backyard, and with modern farming, grown vertically, horizontally, with greenhouses and pots, you know, hydroponics, etc. And if we grow and consume a lot of our food, then we would actually just simply spend less money on imported food. And the imported food is very expensive, because a lot of it is processed food that is dependent on what is going on in the world. It's dependent on energy costs, it's dependent on oil, it's dependent on shipping and transportation. And you just take an example with the war in Iran, hundreds of ships are stranded out there. So whatever they have on them, whether it's fertilizer for agricultural products, whether it's fuel, it can't move. And therefore there's just a shortage of everything else, and therefore the price goes up. So if we really want to tackle in a sustainable manner this issue of cost of living, even if the government increase seed every year, it is not going to change the fact that it will simply get worse, because you're just giving more money to import more food. And if you have no control over where the food is coming from, or the availability or the price of it, then we will not be able to tackle the cost of living on food. So I really want to emphasize, and this is the other point, and the food we are importing generally is unhealthy food. It is highly processed, nutrition deficient, high in starch, high in salt, high in sugar, very expensive food. I mean, if you go and you look at these cereal boxes on a supermarket, you're $25, $30 for a box. I mean, the average Grenadian child would probably drink a box of cereal in 2 days, right? And there are lots of local food that is available, you know, the cassava, farine, etc., that is probably a lot more filling and a lot more nutritious. So as a country, one of the things we really have to, at the individual level, pay attention to is the food we eat. I mean, we have high rates of cancers, high rates of cardiac and heart-related diseases, very high rates of diabetes, high rates of hypertension, right? Kidney diseases, I mean, getting younger and younger persons. So if we are essentially, we are eating ourselves to death.
You're eating to live.
Right, essentially. And a lot of it goes back again to the same question of the cost of living. So we have to start taking individual responsibility. And yes, the government has to lead. We have to educate. We have to promote healthier food. We have to incentivize more domestic production and consumption of food. And that's why the Ministry of Agriculture, for example, brought in all of the animals to ensure that we can start a livestock production process, so we can grow more for protein and meats and so on. But when it comes to starch, for example, really and truly we have as varied quantities of starch as you could even come by. And we've even introduced the Irish potato, which caused the potato gate incident at Parliament. So, you know, I want to emphasize that, because the government could only do so much in terms of the cost of living. Even if we removed all the taxes on the foods that we import, it will still be expensive because we are importing food from places that we have no control over.
We have another caller online. Caller, good evening. Welcome to the program. Go right ahead.
Good evening, my dear. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good evening, PM. Aruna Alaida Dress Girl.
Good evening.
I just want to give the guy from Guava a little encouragement. I am from Snell Hall, the junction to be exact. I live in Wester Hall a very long time ago. And somebody called me from Snell Hall and say, well, somebody wanted to name Snell Hall after a police officer. I said, well, that can't happen so because we have that. I did. I left Wester Hall, traversed to Snell Hall, and have 5 meetings with the residents right in the bus stop in Snell Hall Junction. The McLeish, the Hostens, the Bess, and my family, which is the Samuel. And we were able to get welcome to Snell Hall Junction, aka Sunarine Junction. That big sign, PM was up there some time ago, you know the sign, you know the area. And we were able as a community to just come together. So I just want to encourage the guy from Guava, start with about 5 people. Guava have a lot of fish, make a little fish broth, make a little cooler with drinks. Start on it when all you have time, come together and start a cleanup, and it's going to grow, and your community will be really clean and beautiful. Do not wait on nobody to do something for your community. Have a nice evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sherry, for sharing that wonderful story and encouragement. We appreciate that. And we need more of that. If each of us do that, then you would certainly see that our communities will be better off.
We have another caller online. Caller, good evening. Welcome. Go right ahead.
When all you have time, come together and start a cleanup. Good.
If you're a person listening to us on the line, listen to us on the phone. Go ahead. Okay, let's take another call. You have to listen to the telephone, not the stream, because there will be a delay. All right, we have another caller online. Caller, good evening. Welcome. Go right ahead.
Okay, so congratulations, Mr. Prime Minister. You are actually doing a very good job. I mean, you will probably be Grenada's best Prime Minister ever.
Thank you very much. That's quite flattering. But thank you nonetheless.
That's it. Okay. We have another caller online. Caller, good evening. Welcome. Go right ahead.
Hello.
Good evening. Go right ahead.
Oh, good evening. I would just like to say for this evening, congratulations to the Prime Minister on his soon to come 4 years anniversary. And also, I'd like to say it's not really so much 4 years for the Prime Minister, but it's 4 years for we Grenadians. 4 years for us to enjoy some of the good fruits that he has currently brought to the table from our pensions, etc., coming through. Also, I would like to congratulate the Prime Minister for coming into this thing because he said, on his entry, he was new to politics. So I want to congratulate him for not, let's say, putting his hand in the public purse, because over the years, Grenada had a lot of instances whereby we had MPs and leaders leading this flow, and we had a lot of wastage in our money that we don't even produce nothing. We don't have oil as yet, and a lot of natural resources. So I would like to congratulate the Prime Minister, and that's why I defend him a lot. He earned my trust for the defending part, because he came in there with a clean hands, because in the Grenadian, in the public purse. So I would like to congratulate you for that, Mr. Prime Minister. And one thing I will ask of you for your next budget cycle, I would like to see more by roads, get some more by roads being done throughout Grenada, because you're already doing the widening part. So if you could get the by roads sorted out for us, that would be good. And the Project Polaris, I am one of those who is championing the cause the most for it after losing two family members to cancer. One couldn't even travel to go overseas to get the necessary treatment. So if we have Project Polaris here, I firmly believe that it will be beneficial to us Grenadians. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the comments and the observations. And I think your point that it's not about me, it's about us. Grenadians together is the important takeaway here. Grenadians entrusted myself and my colleagues with the opportunity to form the government 4 years ago. They didn't have to do so. They certainly were taking a risk, an unknown. I was an unknown quantity, so to speak. It's 4 years later, and I think we have lived up to many of the things we said we would seek to implement and do in the wide and best interests of Grenadians as a whole. Of course, we continue to do so. There's still a lot more to do, but I think I'm open to be judged, if I may put it this way, by the public as to whether we are doing a good, bad, or indifferent job. And so we welcome the comments, we welcome the feedback, and where it's positive, we obviously appreciate it. Where there are recommendations and suggestions for improvement, we will certainly heed it, and where there are criticisms, we will certainly reflect on the criticisms and see how we can improve. So thank you, and again, thank you for supporting Project Polaris, because it's in the best interest of Grenadians that we have a modern state-of-the-art hospital that can attend to some of the critical needs of the country.
And you were showing off last week about the roads in St. David, etc., but I forgot to show off about that road that was recently done at starting from the Monjalo Junction, NADMA's headquarters, the widening of the road. Yes. That was really, really, really needed. And it will definitely save a lot of accidents that used to, occur around that corner. Yes. So we have to remember that bit of road as well.
No, and I want to recognize the team at the Ministry of Infrastructure for the enormous work that they've been doing. I think, they get a lot of flack, sometimes deservedly so. But the truth is, from a capacity, we have to appreciate the Ministry of Infrastructure is tasked with handling all of the roads in Grenada. And if you pay attention to what has happened, I think over the last several years, there are many roads that have been neglected. Many simple things that could have been done to improve, simple things like widening of Granite Tank and widening of, say, the Marion Junction and some of those areas which simply did not happen. And we, in a sense, tasked with trying to handle all of it all at the same time. So I want to go on record for thanking the PS chief technical officers who've served, the road officers who've served, the paving crews and so on, who work out in the hot sun and in inclement weather and who are doing quite a good job. And I think for me, it's really just the beginning. We really have to continue to ensure we lift the standards of road construction, road maintenance, and we improve the line of sight, we improve visibility. It's not easy to do because, it's pretty mountainous, pretty hilly. Homes are very close to the roadsides. We don't have any history of building sidewalks. I mean, it's only the father of the nation, so Eric Matthew Gary, when he built True Blue, clearly was ahead of his time, because you can go to True Blue and you see it's the only place with proper sidewalks 40, 50 years after Grenada gained independence. So, sometimes you go forward and then you kind of stagnate. So we are trying to, in a sense, catch up to the vision of Sir Eric Matthew Gary of what Grenada should have been like when it came to road construction and having setbacks and sidewalks and pavements of the sort.
Yeah, and that bit of road in Monjalo actually has sidewalks as well. So yes. We have our final caller. Good evening, caller. Welcome. Go right ahead.
Good evening, Aruna. Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister. This is an observation. For those registering for the Grenada Homecoming, I thought that for future use, in terms of the accommodation, it should be tweaked a little, because some of our people coming in from the diaspora, they do own their own homes in Grenada, and that was not an option there. Instead of that, it's stated with family and friends. So I think we might have missed out a bit and some data for going forward and to inform decisions as policymakers, right? And another thing, Prime Minister, I know that any given government, especially during their first year within an administration, would be very cautious as to the policies and procedures in which they roll out. But I think that our government should really look at the way some of our social policies has not really helped in the development of our country, but rather breed a new set of people just being lazy and entitled. I know that this will bring up a whole political debate you're free not to comment. But I think this is something that as people we really need to look into, because this is really not helping our country. And it is not just Grenada. And I have heard Mr. Reynolds spoke about it in a podcast, and he was absolutely correct. What are we teaching the youth if everything is about a handout? This is really not the way to go into the next century. We are spoiling our people, and somebody has to make a hard decision, create policies to help our youth. And yet, I do understand that there are people within among us that need help. But Grenada was not like that in the 80s. And we need to go back to a place where people learn how to work, learn how to earn, and pick up pride, and feel good about earning something, and forget about the handout syndrome. This is really not helping our country, and I'm very passionate about it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so
Well,
much, Carla.
thank you very much for the comment. I'm not one to shy away purely for political reasons from speaking about what matters. I think I've been on record to talk, and I've talked a lot about productivity. And I've repeated over and over again that it is workers who will build a society. If you don't produce anything, you will have nothing. You will have nothing to consume yourself. You will have nothing to trade or sell with anybody else. And so you're absolutely right. It is important, I think, from a moral and an ethical point of view, for us to understand that we are human beings and have the capacity to create. We have the capacity to work. And if each of us individually work and create, then collectively we become a wealthier, a happier place to live in. And yes, the state is organized around the government being able to support and facilitate and help where we need to. But absolutely, we have to become more productive. We have to become more hardworking. We have to recognize that if we don't produce, there's nothing to exchange. And there's nothing to consume. And asking someone else to give you, well, where did that person get it? They must have gotten it from someone who produced it. So that includes the state. Where is the state getting revenue from? The state could only get revenue from people who are producers and workers. And therefore, if it takes all of its revenue from the workers and the producers and give it to those who are not working, are not producing, you will obviously send the message to those who are working and producing to stop work, because they too will say, well, sure, let me not work and get. And then there will be nobody working. And when there's no one working, the state will fail. And this is something, it's not hypothetical, right? Where countries don't work, or where people can't find work, you have high rates of unemployment, you will have failure. The state will collapse because there'll be no revenue for the government to pay for anything, to pay for teachers, to pay for police officers, etc. So we have to become more productive. We have to recognize that that's the only way in which we will build our countries. And we have to also, I think it's important, I always say you cannot start where you want to end up. So the first job you have is not going to be the last job you have in many instances. And so sometimes we have to take what we get until we can get to a better place or a better job. And in that process, you learn a lot about yourself and about the job and about the business community, about employment, etc. So it's important certainly for us to send the right message. And I don't want to single out the youth. It's not the youth, in my experience, that has the entitlement mentality. It's a lot of adults. There's a generation of adults who've been created, who've been told, and I think in a sense they've been taken advantage of, where they were placed in systems like, for example, our Imani workers. They were systematically placed in a system where you pay them below minimum wage on the guys that you were training them, not for 6 months or 12 months, but for 10 years, 12 years. You paid them substandard, below minimum wage. The state itself was abusing its own citizens and escaping the minimum wage laws that hadn't been updated in probably 20 years or how long, by calling them trainees and then paying them money that you know they could not survive on. So after 10 or 15 years of being in that state, you are broken. You have no confidence in yourself. You have no ambition. You have no self-esteem because your very government is doing that to you. And I'm not making this up, because up to Thursday gone, I had a young lady in my office who's been an Imani for 12 years. Right? And she indicated it's only when we increase the minimum wage that she first, after 12 years, was earning $1,200. And the kind of job she's doing is not a job by any stretch of the imagination that would justify this kind of a low salary. Right? But and I'm saying that is a government employee. So that is what has happened. So it is, to some extent, not the fault of the people, but it's the fault of the poor policy and the terrible judgment on some of these specific issues. And I'm not saying in general it's always poor or bad judgment, but I'm saying on this specific issue about abusing our people by saying, I'm going to train you. Training, to go to the moon, you're not training for 12 years. So how can you train for a clerical job for 12 years? Right? So we have to recognize that policy matters, and the caller is right. If we don't support and encourage policy that makes us independent, makes us strong, makes us productive, then we will end up in the opposite position of being dependent, being poor, being weak, being vulnerable, and being taken advantage of. And that is something as a prime minister, as a person, as a citizen of Grenada, that obviously I'm against, and I will do everything to support and encourage our people to be more productive, to make sure we can give them opportunities for skilling up, for reskilling, educating themselves, etc. So I know I've gone on a little, but caller, just like you, I'm passionate about this
caller,
issue.
you got him fired up.
I'm passionate about this issue as well.
Shireen wants to know if you read the comments on the live.
No, Shireen, I can't read the comments on the live. I have to look
After,
into
if you go back
I have
to
to
read
look
it
into
after.
I have to look into the camera.
I
So
think they
can't.
just want to make sure what they say, you don't see some of the comments.
Oh, okay. Well,
But nonetheless, of course, we've arrived at the end of the program. But before we do that, of course, coming up on Sunday, we have the mega rally, as it's dubbed. And then we also have Father's Day, so I'll give you the opportunity to close on those two. But before that, I have a gift bag here for you for Father's Day from one of the vendors who will be at the Diaspora Homecoming Vendors Day. It is, it is Lux Treasures, and she is a local. Listen, she's a local genius. She does candles, and now she has started doing fragrances. So your gift bag, well, you get to open and check out some of the items in there.
Thank you very much. She's a local genius.
Yeah.
She's made a lot of amazing products, and it's one of
Yes.
the persons that we have to continue supporting and encouraging.
Yes, so you
the talent
have
of
fragrance, you have face wash in there, you have candles in there.
Right. Self-care.
Yeah, you have
Thank you very
for
much.
Father's Day. So on behalf
All
of
right.
Lux Treasures, happy Father's Day to you and the fathers of the nation, and I'll give you the opportunity to close on that note.
All right, well, certainly thank you, Lux Treasures, for the surprise gift. I really do appreciate it, and continue making the amazing products that you've been making and showcasing your talent, but showcasing, in many instances, the local products of Grenada, because everything is infused with Grenadian products. I want to take the opportunity as well to wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day. I know sometimes we kind of get sidelined. We don't get as much attention as the mothers. That's fine. You know, we all come from mothers, so you have to accept that. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers. Certainly at the rally, we will use it as an opportunity to, I think, recognize and encourage and support our fathers, but also those who are struggling with fatherhood, those who are not actually being fathers, who are not parenting. We have to pay more attention to them and encourage them and support them to understand the magnificent role and the blessing that it is to be a father. And I think that's one of the key things we have to work on. But before I talk about the rally, which really is a celebration of the 4 years and a celebration of the people of Grenada under the theme You, Me, Us. That's the critical piece. It's you, it's me, it's us, it's about togetherness, it's about unity. I want to just big up some of our athletes who are competing. So Kirani James, Anderson Peters, and some of the female athletes as well who are doing well. I want to obviously encourage them and continue supporting them. I also wanted to make a plug here to announce. I'm not even sure if it's my place to announce, but as a proud Grenadian, I'm stealing the opportunity. The East Caribbean Central Bank will be unveiling a $5 East Caribbean note that is going to feature none other than Sir Kirani James.
Wonderful.
So he is a living legend. You don't normally get your face placed on currency unless you're deceased. So the fact that he's still very much a young man, still very much active in sports, and that his face is going on the East Caribbean dollar, I think his testimony to not just his prowess as an athlete, but I think his humanity, his gentlemanness. You know, I think he represents the best of us. And so it's no coincidence that we had a lot of DMs from the street from Guelph. So obviously, Guelph Tongue, you should absolutely be proud of your ambassador, Kirani James. I think he represents the best of what Guelph has produced and will continue to produce. So athletes, again, and to our young men and women, Kirani James is perhaps, I would say, a best example of what can happen, even in your lifetime, even as a young person, if you're dedicated, if you're disciplined, and you pursue your dreams, and then you see all of the benefits come flowing, the recognition, the accolades will come. So I just want to emphasize, because, you know, Kirani is a very humble, quiet, soft-spoken person, but he really deserves all of the praise and recognition that he's gotten. So in concluding, I will see the whole nation at Moulin Rouge on Sunday. The rally starts at 5. We expect to have entertainment on from 5:30. We have a number of local artists who are lined up. Sakina, Muddy, I think Young Brother from Trinidad and Tobago will be coming up. It's really a celebration of, I think, the success of Grenada over the last few years, despite all of the challenges that we faced, but we faced them together. You, me, us, that's how we will go forward, united in purpose. So thank you very much again for giving me the opportunity to serve in public life and to serve as the Prime Minister of the Grenada. It's been an absolute honor, and I look forward to serving again for the next 6 years.
6. Somebody said 15.
I like even numbers.
That's it for today, folks. Thank you so very much for tuning in to this evening's DM with PM. Thank you so much for your DMs. Thank you so much to the DMs from the streets. Thank you so much for your calls and, of course, being interactive on the YouTube and, of course, Facebook page. Thank you so much, Power FM, Star FM, We FM, GBN, Fusion FM, Vibes FM, and GIS. The Prime Minister is unboxing his goodie bag. So thank you so much again to everyone. Thank you so much, technical team. And here's to each and every one of you having yourselves an absolutely fantastic Tuesday. And we'll see you again next Tuesday, same time, same place for another edition of DMs with PM. Have a great one, everyone.